welcome to the 5-part manifestation process. Over the next few videos, I have the honor and pleasure of discussing with you how to manifest whatever it is you want in life, and especially how to manifest the success that you want in your business. I'm Danielle Mendoza. I'm a business development consultant and international best-selling author of the book Manifest Success: How to Shut Out the Noise and Transform Your Big Idea into a Business You Love. Let's get started. So first, we need to talk about what is manifestation. Manifesting something is to take it from idea or vision and turn it into a perceptible, outward, or visible expression. So you think, wow, I'd really like to eat a chocolate cupcake with pink frosting and sprinkles. You've got this vision in your mind. You can almost imagine how it would taste. And then you set to the internet and you search how to make a cupcake and you follow the recipe. And before you know it, you've got a delicious chocolate cupcake with pink frosting and sprinkles in your hand, ready to eat. That is exactly what we're doing in the manifestation process. We are taking something from a vision and bringing it into our perceptible reality. But that can seem harder to do with these nebulous ideas like success. So I'm going to break down the manifestation process into 5 parts to make it really simple so you can understand exactly what it is that you need to make manifesting possible. The first part of the manifestation process is gratitude. We have got to get ourselves into a place of gratitude. This is because gratitude is one of the most high vibration emotions, and our vibration attracts similar vibrations from around us to create opportunities and to create the ability to see opportunities using our reticular activating system. So a couple of those phrases, vibration, reticular activating system, might be new to you. The idea of a high vibration feels kind of woo-woo. It feels like this hippy-dippy thing that's been talked about for so long, but really science is starting to catch up. And if you think about it, vibration matters. It's as simple as the idea of a flame getting your finger hot. So when a flame is burning, all the atoms and molecules around that flame are vibrating really, really fast. And when your finger gets close to those vibrations, that vibration is passed on to the molecules in the end of your finger. And your brain interprets that signal as, ouch, this is hot. So that's a really clear physical example of how vibrations travel and get reflected into the world around us. And the same is true for our emotional energetic vibrations. Science is even starting to catch up on measuring those vibrational waves and how we can influence the vibrational waves of a person around us. That also might sound kind of kooky, but really, if you think about it, what happens when you're having a good time and someone with a really sour mood walks in? You can tell right away. You can almost feel the energy of their sour mood, and it starts to affect your mood and the mood of others in the room, and it starts to affect the overall energy of the room. So that's another example of vibrations getting passed on and moving through the world. And your vibration is no different. So if you want to get yourself into a high vibe place, you've got to start with gratitude, finding gratitude for even the simplest things around you and working your way up in your business to ultimately finding gratitude for your ability to have an effect in this world through your business, to help real people solve real problems, or to bring joy into their life through your products and services. It's important to be able to reflect on that and feel that gratitude filling your heart. You are an intelligent person. You are a capable person. You are here to do great things for other people. And in that position of service, you can really tap into the gratitude that will fill your heart and start to expand outside of your body. Now, one way to do this is to start a regular gratitude practice. So every morning, Think about 3 or 5 things that you can be grateful for. Start with something as simple as running water, or the ice in your freezer on a hot day, or the laughter of your children. Even though they might be kind of ruckusy, you can see that they're having a great time and you can feel grateful for the experience you're living in life. Let that gratitude for whatever it is you found in that list of 3 or 5 things fill your being at the core. Let it fill up from the bottom up, and then let it start to expand outward into the space around you. Then start to think of the things you're grateful for in your business, how you're grateful that you get to step out and create this amazing thing that can reach and help real people, this amazing thing that is your business that can help you create more meaning and connection in your life. It's really important to get ourselves into this space of gratitude, and that's the first step. The second step for manifesting exactly what you want in life and business and creating your version of success is intuitive trust. We have got to get in touch with a power higher than ourselves, whether you call that God or universe or source energy, whatever name you give it that rings true for you. You've got to be able to get in touch with that space within yourself. It's an intuitive thing. It's internal. It's not about qualifying your ideas and your actions in the world outside of yourself, but starting with internal validation and then moving outside of yourself to discover how you can make that happen. So intuitive trust comes from looking within first and foremost. A great way to do that is to find stillness and quiet. And you can do that with meditation, but it doesn't have to be you sitting in a room with your racing thoughts, wondering, what should I even be thinking? It can look like you out on a walk in nature. It can look like coloring in a book that's designed to help you reach a meditative state. Anything that helps you slow down and start to just observe your own mind and heart space. It might take a little while at first if this is not something you've put into practice, but you will soon learn to hear that inner voice talking to you. You will learn to hear what it's saying and to discern its message to you. And you need to lean into those messages and lean into that trust. That's what intuitive trust is all about. It's about you going within yourself and finding the truth for yourself. What are you called to do here? What are the business tactics that feel good in your heart and mind? Who are the people that you want to reach and help, and how do you want to help them? And not allowing the outside world to qualify, or more importantly, not allowing the outside world to disqualify those thoughts and callings. When you learn to come from a place of intuitive trust, you will be empowered to enact the next 3 steps in the manifestation process. So first, we've got gratitude. We've got to get ourselves to a high vibe place. And then we move into intuitive trust, strengthening that inner muscle so that we can understand that what we're being called to do is for us to perceive. It's for us to decide what we're going to move forward into in our lives. So now that you know what manifestation is, and you know you've got to start with gratitude, and then you've got to strengthen that intuitive trust, it's time to move on to the third step. The third step in the manifestation process is clarity of vision, developing a really strong, clear vision of what it is you want, of what your business success will look like. This is why it's so important to tackle the second step of intuitive trust, because your success is yours to design. This vision will not be clear if you're living out someone else's vision, if you're trying to reach what someone else says is success, but not what you believe is success in your heart. So a really common thing in the business world is this noise of the six-figure business. Six figures, seven figures. It almost feels like success isn't even success unless we've got a six-figure year under our belt. But that's not true. We get to define our success, and there are so many ways to make a clear picture of our success. For some of us, it's about being able to have time for our kids. It's about being able to be there when they're sick and not be stuck in an office worrying about whether or not our boss will let us go and be with our children when they need us the most. For others of us, it's about that location freedom. It's about being able to work from anywhere in the world and being able to serve and connect with people no matter where life takes us, whether we're on vacation in the Bahamas or we're exploring the fields of Kentucky, really anywhere you want to go. If you can conduct business from there, that might be part of your dream. And for others of us, it is about that financial success. It is about those numbers that bring more of what we want into our life, into availability. And that's okay too. The trick is making sure that your vision comes from within you, that it is internally qualified and validated through that strong muscle of intuitive trust, and making sure your vision is clear. That is super key. So sometimes our vision looks small when it comes to it being clear. All we can see is the next step in front of us. It's kind of like a foggy day on the beach. You're walking towards the water. You know you're going to get there eventually, but you can only see 200 yards in front of you. So you move forward into that 200 yards. And by the time you've gotten to this new place, another 200 yards becomes clear and you can move forward into that one. Vision works a lot like that. We can have a clear picture of our next best steps, but not a clear picture of the full path to the end. And that's okay. We can move forward in our vision in the way that we need to, in the way that we have qualified through our intuitive trust. But sometimes you can see that big vision. You can see the end of the pathway. You can really fully experience it inside of your being. And that's the trick to vision, making sure that it feels close up, immersive, in full color and sharp and clear. We have to know the difference between having a clear vision and dreaming. Dreaming is important because sometimes it can bring us elements of vision, but if we focus only on dreaming, we're creating a dopamine flow that can actually get us stuck because we are not motivated to move into the next step of the manifestation process. So we've got to make sure we have a really clear vision of what is possible for us, so clear that we can feel it. We can put ourselves in the shoes of that experience and feel it in our body as well as see it in our mind. So that's step 3 of the manifestation process, having a clear vision. So it starts with gratitude. We move into strengthening our intuitive trust, and then we develop our clear vision of success based on our version of what it means to be successful. Part 4 of the manifestation process is the most important and most overlooked part of manifesting. So manifesting is a big buzzword in the business community. You have a lot of business coaches and consultants who think that it comes down to finding gratitude, feeling high vibe, creating a vision. And oftentimes, like we talked about in the last video, it's creating a dream. And then they stop there and they just assume the rest will unfold. But that's not exactly how it works. And that's why I wanted to bring clarity to what manifesting is. This 4th part of the process is by far where we should be spending 75% of our time and energy. And that is in consistent action taking. So we've got gratitude, intuitive trust, and clarity of vision. And then we step into consistent action taking. It's really important not to ignore this part of the process, because if we squirrel away in our rooms or out in the backyard, sitting in nature, and we close our eyes and we live our lives with our eyes closed, trying to conjure up this vision of wonderfulness, we will end up stuck in our rooms, stuck in our backyard, stuck with our eyes closed, and we won't be able to create that version of success that we hold so near and dear to our hearts. So how do you know which actions to take? Again, it comes down to that intuitive trust and also that gratitude. When you're in that high vibrational place of gratitude, opportunities will come to you. You'll have the chance to see your next best step as you move through this journey. It may not always look exactly like you thought it would look in the process, but you'll end up in the final result that comes from that clear vision that you designed. And when it comes to consistent action taking, it's really important to remember the 12-week rule. The 12-week rule says that your results today are an accumulation of your action, energy, and engagement over the last 12 weeks. And I have found this to be the most underutilized, but most important rule in business. When we can understand that the last 12 weeks has gotten us to the place where we are now, we can see exactly what's been working for us and what's been working against us. And we can keep ourselves from getting discouraged when we feel like we're not seeing the results that we want. We can say, okay, where have I been over the last 4 weeks? Who have I talked to? Who have I been showing up as? What are the action steps that I've been taking? And we'll be able to determine exactly what it is that led us to the place we are in today. Being discouraged and giving up is probably the number one way that women go out of business. We often hear that statistic that 85 or some odd percentage of businesses fail. And I truly believe that it's because we give up in the process. It gets too hard, it costs us too much money, and it becomes so discouraging that we stop. We stop consistently taking action. And using the 12-week rule to assess where we are based on the actions we've taken over the last 12 weeks can keep us from getting overly discouraged. It can keep us going because we can say, oh, I see that I haven't been showing up with quite the right people, or I haven't been showing up with the right energy, or I haven't been consistently taking these actions. And so I've gotten these mediocre results. Or we can look back and celebrate and say, I see exactly where I've been showing up. I see exactly the energy I've been bringing to the table. And it's feeling and looking just like my vision of success. And I know I'm on the right track. So when it comes to consistent action taking, we've got to make sure we're looking at the 12-week rule and using that in the process. The other piece that's really important when it comes to consistent action taking is using something I call the action formula. So with the action formula, we start by trying something. And oftentimes as women business owners, we think we'll try something and then we'll just sort of look the other way, or we'll like look at it through spread fingers like it's some scary movie. But we've got to go further. We've got to try something. Yes, that's the start. But then we've got to observe. We've got to observe our ideal market and how they're responding to what we tried. Do they like it? We've also got to observe ourselves and how we're feeling about what we tried, not in our fear or in our scared mind of embarrassment or judgment, but deep down in our core. How do we really feel? Is the resistance there emotionally based, or is there resistance based on the fact that this wasn't the right step for us to take? And knowing how to configure that discernment is really, really important. And it's something that comes with time. It comes with practice and regularly observing the things that we try and getting to know ourselves in the process of doing business. So the action formula is to try and then observe. Then the next step is to adjust. If our market didn't like it, even if we did really like it, we've got to change what we're doing. If our market really loved it, but we really hated it, we've got to change what we're doing. We've got to make adjustments based on the honest and open observation that we've made so that we can move into the next step of the action formula, which is to repeat. We've got to try something, observe it honestly, adjust what we're doing, and finally repeat the action. That's the only way to stay in consistent action taking, is to repeat the things that are working, or to repeat on things that have failed by adjusting them, repeating the action, and going through the formula all over again. So kind of like washing your hair, that wash, rinse, repeat. We've got to do that with action taking. We've got to try, observe, adjust, and finally repeat what we're doing. And when we do that over and over for 12 weeks, then we can put into place the 12-week rule and look back and say, where have I come? Now that I've done this for 12 weeks, how far has it gotten me? Did it work? Did it not work? What do I want to keep doing? And what do I want to scrap from the plan? It's really important to be able to make these self-observations as we move through consistent action taking, because otherwise we're caught up in all of the noise of the outside business world. And it's important to be able to self-qualify and move forward in our business, because it's our vision of success that we're working toward. It's not someone else's vision. It's not something that can be qualified by someone else. You hold that vision in your head and heart, and you are the one who will know if you're working in the right direction. So again, the step 4 of the manifestation process is consistent action taking, by far the most overlooked, but also the most important piece of the manifestation process. Part 5 of manifesting what you want. Part 5 of the manifestation process is open receiving. So we started with gratitude for our abilities, for the opportunities, and for the lives that we're living. And we moved into strengthening our intuitive trust, getting still and quiet so that we could trust the inner wisdom that's being spoken to us. After that, we developed a clear vision, our version of success, what it is that we want in this life, what we want from our business, not allowing the outside business world to qualify that for us. Then we stepped into consistent action taking, right? 75% of our time and energy is spent in consistent action taking. Finally, we've got to be in a place of open receiving. So a great way to know if you're openly receiving is to think about, how do you feel when someone sings happy birthday to you? When it's your birthday and you go to the restaurant and your family and friends are there and they bring the waiters out without you knowing and they all start singing happy birthday to you, how do you feel? How do you feel about receiving a gift or something that you didn't earn, something that someone is just giving to you out of the goodness of their heart? Are you quick to move into guilt and say, oh, no, you don't have to do that. I don't need this, and try to give it back? Or are you able to humble yourself and openly receive the gifts that are being given to you? That's just a couple of ways to tap into your own feelings of open receiving. And chances are good, if you're like most women, you do move into guilt. You do move into feeling like you don't deserve it. You don't need it. It's not necessary for them to take care of you in that way or to give you such a wonderful gift. And this is something you need to work on to shift that energy into openness. You're pretty closed off if you feel like you shouldn't be receiving something that you didn't earn. Often we feel like the results in our business need to come from really hard work, and we need to really struggle and learn and move up and get certifications and get degrees and, work hard at what we're doing. When the truth is, operating from our zone of genius usually feels so obviously easy that we don't even realize how much genius we are. We think it's something everyone should know how to do, and we dismiss it pretty quickly when it starts to bring results into our life. And we get stuck in these loopholes of trying to learn more and strive more and become better, when the truth is that we're already good enough. And we need to be open to receiving the gifts that the universe wants to bring into our lives. We can feel grateful. We can trust our intuition. We can have a wonderful vision that's extremely clear, and we can take action on that vision, only to self-sabotage because we're closed off to receiving. And that's not what you want. Or you want results that represent the clear vision that you've created of your success. The only way to welcome those results into your life based on the consistent action you've been taking is to be open to receiving. So there you have it. That is the 5-part manifestation process. We've got gratitude, getting into a high vibe place so that our vibrations are reverberating through the universe, bringing us good opportunities and great energy. Then we are practicing strengthening that muscle of intuitive trust, trusting our inner wisdom as it guides us along this journey. Finally, we are developing a clear vision so that we can say, this is what success looks like to me. This is what I want in my life. After that, we are empowered to take consistent action that will bring those results into our life using the action formula and looking back and evaluating through the 12-week rule. And finally, we are open to receiving the gifts that the universe has to give us, thanks to exercising all parts of this manifestation process. As you move through practicing the manifestation process more and more, you'll probably start to find where things overlap. It's not super linear. Sometimes you're working hard and your vibration falls, and then you've got to get back into gratitude. And sometimes you're receiving something and you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, is this part of the vision? And you've got to get back in touch with your vision. And sometimes you're moving along in action and you've got to trust that inner wisdom about whether or not it's the right thing for you to continue doing. So even though I've laid it out in a linear way, parts 1 through 5, it's an ongoing cyclical thing where we are bouncing around from part to part to part. But ultimately, using these parts of the manifestation process will allow us to manifest whatever it is we want in our life, whatever our version of success looks like in our clear vision. I hope this helped you understand the manifesting process and helps you put it into action. Thanks for listening.